Third time's the charm. We've got yet another winter storm on the way for the Carolinas, one weekend after another, and this time it appears that everybody in the Carolinas is going to have the chance to see snow, especially at the coast. This is going to be one of those systems where the eastern part of the Carolinas has a better chance of seeing snow than the central and western parts of the state, when usually it's the other way around. This is the setup we have. Yet again, another low pressure system. This is kind of going to act as a nor'easter. We've got a stationary front that's going to come out of it to the east. That's going to keep the warm air to the east and south of us. A cold front, which is going to reinforce even more colder air. The track of this low pressure is going to determine everything. Who sees snow and how much? If this low pressure were to hug the coast, that would bring a big wintry mix for everybody. If this low pressure were to just go off the coast, which is what we're thinking is going to happen, that is the golden key for seeing snow for winter weather lovers. And then if this low pressure were to track just off the coast, then that's where we're going to just see dry and cold air. It's looking very unlikely that's going to happen at this point. And so for snow lovers, we're going to get a good chance of seeing winter weather and snow for everybody in the Carolinas. This is the future radar for Saturday night. Saturday night's all right for fighting, especially for winter weather, and it shows snow for everybody. This is the American GFS model, and it does show snow beginning as early as Friday night for parts of the western Carolinas and the upstate, say parts of South Carolina north of Interstate 85, and then throughout the day Saturday that pushes east as the low pressure develops off the coast, and then that reinforces cold air, and then we start to get snow falling for Columbia and points north, east, and south of the Midlands as well. It's looking at this point that because we have the cold air already in place, which is unusual for this area, because we have the cold air already in place, even rain is starting to look like it's out of the question. This is going to be either snow or no. And so it's looking right now that most places in the Carolinas are going to end up seeing snowfall. The percentage, the probability that we see an inch of snow, all models have been agreeing on this for the last couple of runs, and it looks like now that it's pretty much a guarantee for the upstate and the Midlands, around 100%. Again, we can't quite say 100%, but it's getting up there, say around 80 to 90%, if anything. Now, there's a sharp gradient here you'll notice in the percentages from south to north, and so we go from about 0% for Hilton Head all the way up to 100% in Rock Hill. So we've got this gradient here in the middle. Where this gradient sets up is going to be key in determining who gets how much snow. So we don't know exactly how far south this storm system is going to track. That's one of the uncertainties here, but even the low country still has a chance of seeing snowfall. About 32% for Charleston, less than 10% for Hilton Head, and then going into the northeast coast, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, Murrells Inlet, those areas have a better chance of seeing snow than the low country, and up into southeastern North Carolina. It appears that eastern North Carolina is going to see the most out of anybody in this storm system. Now for the map you've been wanting to see, the snowfall amounts, there's a big gradient here too. Look at this. We go from about less than a half inch in Hilton Head to a little over half a foot in Rock Hill. So again, we've got this big gradient here where we go from 5, 6, maybe even up to 8 to 10 inches of snow in the upstate, north of Interstate 85. Even places around Rock Hill, Sherrod, and Lancaster could be seeing several inches of snow. But then even the low country sees snow, but then they're only getting about half an inch to an inch at most, which is enough to cause problems. You know, here in South Carolina, if you get snow anywhere, that's going to cause problems regardless. So the big question we have now isn't so much are we going to see snow, but where is this tight gradient going to set up where we go from just a little bit of snowfall to a lot in just a short distance. Still, the Midlands, Columbia, Sumter, Orangeburg, and Aiken are going to have the possibility to see upwards of 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches of snow. Now, do keep in mind, we're still 2 to 3 days out from this event, so the forecast can and will change. This is not a guarantee, and this is not set in stone. This is the American GFS model. The European model does show several inches of snow falling for the South Carolina low country, which historically speaking, the European model has been proven to be more accurate during winter storms here in South Carolina. So the snow is on the table for everybody. Just how much we're going to see is still in the question. Now, we do think it's going to be likely that the northern part of South Carolina and the eastern part of North Carolina is going to see the most. Again, we just don't know how much. And it's going to be possible that some places in eastern North Carolina, say around Burgaw, up into Jacksonville and Greenville, North Carolina, could see close to a foot of snow. It sounds hard to believe, but that's what forecast models are showing at this time. That's just the snow part of this forecast. We also have to talk about the cold air, because after that moves through, this is going to stick around because we're seeing temperatures in the teens. Everybody in South Carolina inland, upward down to around single digits for the upstate and 20s for the coast. That's the actual air temperature Sunday night, Monday morning, and then going again into Tuesday morning. We're going to have a slight breeze at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and usually that doesn't make too big of a difference, but because we have so cold temperatures, even the slightest breeze is going to make it feel a lot colder than it actually is. And so thus we're looking at feels like temperatures Sunday night and Monday morning between 0 and 10 degrees for everybody inland. We could be getting single-digit feels like temperatures South Carolina and in North Carolina as well, and feels like temperatures in the teens for locations along the immediate coastline. If we're lucky, we might just stay above 20 degrees for the feels like temperature, but it's looking now like everybody in the Carolinas is going to wake up Monday morning to feels like temperatures at least below 20. Many are going to be in the single digits, and it wouldn't even surprise me if we saw a couple places in the prone cold areas, say in the upstate north of Interstate 85, could see feels like temperatures below 0. Again, that's in the high elevations of the Appalachian and Blue Ridge Mountains, but for now it's looking like everybody in interior parts of the Carolinas will be seeing feels like temperatures in the single digits. Alright then, so here's the 7-day forecast. We get clouds increasing tomorrow, 46 for the high, 52 on Friday. Believe it or not, that's going to be the warmest day of the period. And then Saturday is when things start to change. Really, it's Friday night because upstate will start seeing snowfall around Friday night. But then Saturday is really the battle zone here in the meat and potatoes when we start getting the winter storm coming in, with the afternoon high temperatures staying just a couple degrees above freezing, and then temperatures are going to dip down into the teens. Sunday, we start getting the winter storm moving out. It's going to be sunny, but temperatures are still going to be very, very cold, so not much melting is going to happen. Monday and Tuesday, we start getting back into the 40s, so this is when we're really going to start seeing the snow go away, but temperatures at night are still going to be in the teens and 20s. And so because of this, all the snow that melts is going to cause liquid out there on surfaces, and because it's going to be getting into a hard freeze every night, we could be expecting black ice, and winds are going to remain calm during this time, and so that's going to up the chances that we see black ice every single night throughout next week. So a lot to iron out here. We'll probably start seeing winter weather advisories and winter storm watches show up tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, and we'll likely have another update right here, same time and same place, again tomorrow evening, because this forecast can and will change. So again, a lot to figure out. This storm is still about 3 days out, so we'll figure it out. Until then, keep up to date, and we'll be back again with another update.